What's going on, family? All my brothers and my sisters out there, man. What y'all say, man? Double salute to y'all for tuning in to another episode of What We Ain't Gon Do. Now, on this episode right here, it's gonna be a little touching. You feel me? And what I mean by that is, what we ain't gonna do is make excuses and reasons to not deal with childhood trauma issues. I know that word trauma been floating around a lot lately, and I'm kind of glad that it has been, because I think it's something that the black community have swept under the rug for some time now. So you might don't know what trauma is. So trauma is a deeply distressing or disturbing experience. And a lot of us have had traumatic events happen to us in our life. Some we don't care to speak on. Some we have spoken on and been healed from. Some we have spoken on and haven't been healed from. And this ain't no shot at the Christians, but I feel like we should stop using the excuse that Jesus has healed us and we ourselves haven't did any work or even had any talks to even begin the process of coming out of trauma. Because what I've learned through my experience is you first have to acknowledge something in order to even begin to fix the problem. Number one, you gotta acknowledge that there's a problem. So what we ain't gonna do, y'all, is we ain't gonna make excuses and reasons to not deal with childhood trauma. I did some fact checking, and it's 70% of adults in the U.S. who have experienced some type of trauma event at least once in their life. It's 3 types of traumas that I've found out. One is acute, which would be a single traumatic incident. The second is chronic, which means it's been repeated or prolonged. The example of that is like domestic violence or abuse. And then the third one is complex, and that's a complex trauma would be someone who's been exposed to multiple traumatic events. So those are the 3 underlying traumatic issues. And I just feel like it's just time to deal with these things. Like, I myself suffer from childhood emotional neglect, which is a trauma. And basically what that means is I was never really put in a position to express my emotions as a child, like openly, how I really feel about stuff. Like, you keep stuff bottled in, then over time you develop anger, rage, and short attitudes, short attention spans, all this different stuff. So I just challenge everybody, not so much saying you gotta go and see a psychic. I mean, not a psychic, a therapist. I'm not saying you need to do that, but what I'm saying is begin to open up, man, and have dialogue, man. Find you somebody you can trust, you can talk to, vent to, that's not gonna judge you, and just begin to identify with any traumatic events that you may have had. The first step, remember, y'all, is acknowledgement. So let's just begin to build and grow, man, and love ourselves. Like, self-love is the most important love, that one can have. And if you have any traumatic experiences from your childhood, like, if you never spoke on it or even begin to identify it, to know that that's something you're dealing with, that's the first step. Find somebody to talk to, man. Pray about it, but at the same time, like, we can't continue to sit here and make excuses for things that we haven't dealt with. Open up, man. Be an open book, man. And that's not to everybody. You're not going to be an open book to any and everybody, but I know you got somebody that you can speak to out there, that you can talk to, vent to, open up to. And let's begin to just begin to be better, man. Be whole. Be mentally healthy. That's the key. Let's be mentally healthy. So what we ain't gonna do on this episode is we ain't gonna make excuses and reasons to not deal with childhood trauma issues. And I'm signing out, man. I kind of stayed longer than I thought I would, but y'all be blessed, man.